Hello and welcome to Rita's Paper Motif. Today I wanted to share with you a folio I made using the supplies in the January 2026 paper pumpkin. And the theme of that paper pumpkin is Valentine's. So before we get started with the paper pumpkin part, I felt like I should show you the base of the folio. And before we do that, I wanted to introduce myself. To those of you that are new, either new to the channel, new to Facebook, my Facebook page, or even new to visiting the website. So I am Rita, and I like to create card and scrapbook page designs as well as 3D projects. And I like to share these with you in hopes that it will inspire you to create and share with those that matter in your life. So for all things here at the Paper Motif, you can visit at thepapermotif.com. There you'll find the measurements, you'll find videos, you'll find pictures, you'll find my online store, you'll find what's current, you'll even find virtual catalog. So you're more than welcome to visit me there. That is my home base. Also, if you're watching here on YouTube, please consider subscribing to my channel. If you hit that icon for notifications, then you'll know when I upload any new content. Also, if you are on Facebook and you'd like to follow me there at Rita's Paper Motif, I would welcome you in. And so let's go ahead and get started. So what I'm going to want to create is a folio. Now, you know, folios are like smaller versions of scrapbooks, right? So sometimes maybe we don't have a scrapbook on hand, or maybe the scrapbook we have is a little bit larger for what we want, or maybe we just want to share just a few pictures or whatever. Then the folios are great for that. And I have recently come to love them. And so let me just show you how I made the folio that we're going to use for today. And so this will be part one. If you want to come back and see how I finished the folio, then you're going to look for part two. So let's go ahead and get started. So you're going to need some basic white cardstock. This measures 8.5 by 11. And we're going to cut two of them to measure a 9 by 5.5. So let's go ahead and do that. So there's 9. You can see this arm in our trimmer that extends out. The 9 is right here. Let's go ahead and trim that. And we're going to save this. I always save these. These are nice to save in your scraps. And then we want to rotate it, and then we want to trim at a 5.5. So we'll just pull it on over to that 5.5 mark. We'll make sure that it's fitting against this ledge, and we're just going to go ahead and trim it. What I like about the trimmer is it has a scoring blade right here, the light one, and a cutting blade right here, the dark one. So I pretty much can get everything done that I need to do there. All right, so let's go ahead and we're going to do another one while we're here doing this. So again, at 9. I don't know why I like to go from up to down. Everybody has a reason for why they do that. I don't. All right, so we're just going to go ahead and cut that, and then we're going to turn it around and cut at the 5.5. Okay. All right, so then that looks small, doesn't it? What happened here? Is 5.5? Oh, there it is. Oh, I was looking at 8 thinking, how did this happen? All right, so now we're going to go ahead and score at 4.25. So there's 4.25. So we'll use that light blade. And I didn't have all the way up and then I moved it. So you want to make sure. So we're going to go ahead and score at 4 1/4. And I'm going to do a couple of passes. And then 4 3/4. So there's 4 3/4. And that's going to give us 2 panels right here. 2 panels. I don't know if you can see the fold line. We'll fold it in a minute. So we have our 2 panels with a 1/2 inch between the 2 score lines, which is going to be the spine of this. All right, we're going to do the very same thing with this. So we're going to score at 4 1/4 and 4 3/4. Okay, and then I am going to, I want to cut a piece that is 4 1/2 by 5 1/2. Actually, let's do 5 1/2 by 5 3/4. So let's do 5 3/4 first. And there's not a rhyme or reason, it's just I want to kind of go in order. So 5 1/2 by 5 3/4. This is 5 3/4. And then 5 1/2. And I'm putting all my cut parts up here. And then I'm going to score this at 1/2. Let's see here. We want the 5 1/2 going up and down. So we're going to score at 1/2. You could also use this other side, which is most of the time easier. So let's just do that. And this isn't straight. You definitely need your paper straight. So if you see that, you can always fix it. And it happens to the best. So, all right, so we're going to go ahead and score this at 1/2. And then we're going to score at 1 inch. Okay, and let's see, I want another piece that is, I think I can get it out of this, that is 5 1/2 by 4 1/2. So we can get that out of this. So, so 4 1/2. And then I'm going to start putting these together because some of these I'll just tell you right now, some of them I do adjust as I go, which you can always do, right? And then this one is going to be with the 5 1/2. So this is 5 1/2. That's always going to be going to the top. I'm going to score this at 1/2 inch. So 1/2 inch right up here. I'm using this side now. Okay, let's go ahead and see what we have here. So let's go ahead and start with those 2 bigger pieces, which were our 9 by 5 1/2. Excuse me. I have allergies that are trying to kick in, so I'm feeling a little froggy, I guess. So this is part of the cardstock. Just turn it over because we'll cover it up. And then we're going to find our fold lines, and you can take your bone folder. I'm using my Cricut tool. This is garbage day, so it's going to get loud outside. So I am filming in my office, which is a little more soundproof, I think. All right, so we have something that looks like this. So this is the part that we're going to be decorating, and this is going to be the inside, and here is the spine. So if you needed a bigger, a taller maybe folio, then you're going to change that 5 1/2 to accommodate the size that you want. All right, so we're going to do the same with this piece, which is the same measurement. This is the 9 by 5 1/2, scored at 4 1/2. 4 1/4 and 4 3/4, sorry. All right, and so we have the same thing. Now we're going to put these two together, which is going to make up the base, kind of the main part of the folio. So you can do it either way. You can put this one on top or this one on the bottom. It doesn't really matter. Because I have a little thing with my cardstock, I am going to cover this up just because I want to. And so I'm going to lay this, I'm going to adhere it down, and I want the edge to go to that first score line. So I'm going to put my adhesive right back here, and I am going to be using my multi-purpose liquid glue on here, and I'll tell you why, and that is because I want these pieces to be flush, and the glue, the liquid glue gives me that opportunity to manipulate my panels. So that's why I'm using that. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put this down like this. Whoops, sorry. And I'm going to lay it right against that score line. I don't want it to cover this score line. I just want it to match up to it. So here we go. And it's easier to do it if you lay that down, it's easier to do it that way. If you lay this panel, for me it is. And so I'm just going to lay that down. And I just did it wrong. Sorry. See, this is the beauty of that glue, right? If I had used tear and tape, I would kind of have to start all over, and that would be a problem. So I just want to get them flush. And now my liquid glue is getting very tacky. So my time to manipulate this is just about over. All right, so there we have our panel. Now you can turn it over, and because I took so long with my liquid glue, I am going to, at this point, clean it up because I don't want to have to worry about it later, and now is a good time. So there's just a little bit that was poking out, so we'll just get rid of that. And so now we have this folio just like this, right? Well, I want to put something inside. So what I like to put are some more panels. So that panel that was the one that we cut, let's see what, we scored it twice. So we scored it at, let's see, what this was, a 1/2 and then 1 inch. So let's go ahead and burnish those fold lines. And I am going to, I thought I had my light on, but I see we're getting some clouds, and so I just want to have some more light on here. Anyway, long story. So I'm going to go ahead and put this right here. I want this to match up to that. And then when it opens up, it's going to open up like that. But this isn't exactly how I did it. So let me look at my, I told you I was kind of making this up as I go. So, let's see here. I'm not going to use this piece, sorry. This is the piece we're going to use, and this is the one that is 5 1/2 by 4 1/2, and we scored it at the 1/2. With the 5 1/2 facing upward, we scored it at the 1/2. And I'm going to put this right here on, right there. Okay. Now you could use tear and tape for this. I would, except for because I'm on video and I have a camera between me and the cardstock. I am going to use my all-purpose glue. So I'm going to put that right here. And I'm going to try and get it flush. So it's not, there we go. Sometimes it helps to bring up this panel so you can see where you're putting your panel. And do go with your bone folder to make sure all of these are secure. This is lifting up, so I probably was a little lax on the glue. So now is the time to fix it. Okay, so this is a very, very simple folio. Very simple. You can see the spines on this. And it does maybe seems a little flimsy, but once you start putting your cardstock and you start decorating it, it's going to become way more sturdy. Now here's the thing with this. This is a basic folio. You can do anything you want with it. You could cut this panel so that it flaps over and you could put your closure here after you decorate this. When I do the video using the contents of that paper pumpkin, you're going to see that I alter this. And so you can alter either one of them. There's just so many different things you can do with this. You can add parts to it. You could add, like we're going to do, you could add pockets. You could add waterfalls. You could add just there's a whole bunch of things that you can do to this to make it your own, but this is like a basics for any of those designs. So I wanted to share this with you so that when I do the video with the paper pumpkin supplies, that the video is not too long. So if you have forgotten the measurements, then definitely just go to the paper motif, and there you'll be able to find the measurements, and that should be under the basic 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 folio. And you can refer to that, and feel free to change it up any way you want. You can decorate it however you want. So definitely after you watch this, watch part 2 so that you can see how I use this basic folio along with the contents of the January 2026 paper pumpkin. All right, so thank you so much for spending time with me today as we talked about the basic folio. And all you need is a couple of pieces of cardstock, and it could be any color. It doesn't have to be white, so know that too. But it is good to have a basic cardstock that is a little bit sturdy, because if they're too flimsy, then even they'll just be flimsy. So thank you so much for stopping by, and you all have a great weekend. Bye now.